mantras of our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother says, "Let thy light be in me like a fire that makes all alive. Let thy divine love penetrate me. I aspire with all my being for thy reign as sovereign and master of my mind and heart and body. Let them be thy docile instruments and thy faithful servitors. With always our love and blessing, says our Divine Mother." Sri Aurobindo's Savitri, Book 1, The Book of Beginnings, Canto 5, The Yoga of the Spirit's Freedom and Greatness, page 88. Here, chaos sorts itself into a world, a brief formation drifting in the void, apings of knowledge, unfinished arcs of power, flamings of beauty into earthly shapes, love's broken reflexes of unity, swim, fragment mirrorings of a floating sun. A packed assemblage of crude tentative lives are pieced into a tessellated whole. There is no perfect answer to our hopes. There are blind, voiceless doors that have no key. Thought climbs in vain and brings a borrowed light, cheated by counterfeits, sold to us in life's mart. Our hearts clutch at a forfeited heavenly place. There is provender for the mind's satiety. There are thrills of the flesh, but not the soul's desire. Here, even the highest rapture time can give is a mimicry of ungrasped beatitudes, a mutilated statue of ecstasy, a wounded happiness that cannot live, a brief felicity of mind or sense thrown by the world power to her body's slave, or a simulacrum of enforced delight in the seraglious of ignorance. For all we have acquired soon loses worth, an old disvalued credit in time's bank, imperfections check drawn on the inconscient. And in consequence dogs every effort made, and chaos waits on every cosmos form. In each success, a seed of failure lurks. Words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo about our Divine Mother, and he talks about her feet, and in Savitri our Lord says, "All nature dumbly calls to her alone to heal with her feet the aching throb of life, and breaks the seals on the dim soul of man, and kindle her fire in the closed heart of things. Our Divine Mother says, it is through my feet that I transmit the power of transformation into matter, into the inconscience of the inert mass of this anguished earth. I have a vague idea from what I have read here and there that your feet are destined to change the fate of the earth. Something like that. I do not remember exactly. Sweet Mother, I feel that there is a force being transmitted through your feet. It is active or rather dynamic with the rays of light and the peace that settles down. It is as if your feet gives comfort to the being with a soothing love and sweetness. Sweet Mother, it is at the same time many things that one feels, but the most important thing is that the force is very active. It is really strong, says the child to the Divine Mother. For this, our Divine Mother says, yes, my child, it is exactly that. Because it is the force of transformation. That is why it is dynamic. There is the light that penetrates to illumine the mass in the inconscience, the force to stimulate the tamas, and the joy to make it conscious. This force must penetrate this solid, obscure, rigid matter which is obstinate in its perversion and engulfed in falsehood, in order to bring light into the very bottom of this mass of inconscience, of this eternal obscurity that opposes with its immense and impenetrable energies in their unrelenting dynamism. Our Divine Mother continues to say, there is a presence which is bound up in matter by millions of cords. It is imprisoned there by an occult power from which it is very difficult to be free. Immobile, it rests in matter, forced by a bind compulsion in the sentient depths where nothing moves, where nothing ever can, there where everything disappears in a resistance that opposes with an invincible force. That is why this transforming force must act with a sustained power till matter feels and is made more conscious of my presence, of the light that is spreading. I force it down until the light penetrates into the very heart of the matter. Our Divine Mother says, each step that I have placed on the earth, everywhere, I have thrust this force and this light of transformation into the atoms and molecules of this matter, which are under my feet, to awaken them to the necessity of this work of transformation. Each step that I have placed deliberately on the earth has sent vibrations like echoes that ring and resound into the inertia of this matter, which sleeps in a torpor of inconscience, in order to awaken it to a rhythm of harmony and to a consciousness of beauty and truth. And how, with a spark of light, they awoke with joy and responded to my call by a tremendous stirring to participate in this effort towards transformation. It is unimaginable how, with a single moment, they surrendered themselves to accept to participate in this miracle of transmutation, which will change the very nature of these elements. Not quite physically, but in the process of their subconscious formation, in their mental, in their dynamism, even in their actions and reactions, there will be a new guide, a light of the truth consciousness to illumine them. It becomes something benign, something scared, where the past with its pernicious load will be effaced. Our Divine Mother says, What a benevolent grace, what a sovereign peace, what a solace for these tiny entities that reside in the atoms and who have been tortured. What a blessed hour! For these are the very particles of dust where I have placed my feet, which have been touched by the transforming light, by the power that triumphs. And first, they try to bring an equilibrium, then to spread this compassion, and they are active in changing their neighbors who are in turmoil because they have been disturbed by this chaos in the atmosphere. You know, wherever I walked, whoever I have placed my feet, wherever on the earth our feet has touched the ground, that place has become sacred, sanctified, pure, receptive to our touch, to the transforming force that we have transmitted, that which was emanated from us in order to act in the very depths of the inconscience. The light that has emanated from us has awakened these tiny particles from millions of years of torpor to a new consciousness, to the vibration of an unknown Ananda. They have retained this consciousness and Ananda and have spread them all around to effectuate a change in their surrounding, as if to suffuse it through these molecules by an influence impregnated with a divine sweetness. I have touched the soul of the earth, of this matter, which greets me with a gratitude that pours itself in an incomparable surrender and invites me further to liberate it from all bondage. I have kindled in the very depths a flame to burn all impurities and to make it pure. And what a work it is that is taking place. Wherever I look, there is a spark of my light that beckons me. Wherever I have placed my feet, there is an activity of the force of transformation which makes the earth consciousness vibrate. How, in this obscure and solid inconscience, this mass of ignorance, of impenetrable tamas, where never a light was seen, now sees at last a clearing, a ray of light brightening up this tiny mass. In the very depths of the nucleus of these atoms, I have kindled a flame which awakens with a quiver like a palpitation in this inert mass of inconscience, imprisoned in an immobile spiral of forces, as in the obscure eternity of ignorance. Our Divine Mother says, it reveals a world where nothing was. In these blind realms of matter, where it lay inert and mute, in a deep slumber without life, there comes a vibration emanating from the Supreme Will, and matter trembles, shudders, and awakens in an ecstasy. Our Divine Mother says, there, where I have placed my feet, there has been a formidable effect, various results of one kind or another. In some places, I notice that the atmosphere thrills with this unique vibration interspersed here and there. And those who are open and receptive, fulfilling the conditions demanded by these elements, have been able to awaken to this new consciousness. Our Divine Mother says they have all had a slight glimpse of what this substance is, and they are astonished to find the effect it can bring about on the body without knowing what it is. You see, these people who are concerned with the physical, purely physical, not mental, that means physically physical, those whose aim is at the perfection of the body and consequently the perfection in the domain of execution of skill, strength, endurance in whatever form of the physical expression, Those who have consecrated their lives to pursue this ideal rigorously with an unparalleled will and discipline, these persons have felt something, have been touched by this transforming light. They express it in an ordinary way, a bit vaguely, because they have not learned to express themselves properly. They did not have a formal education, but in spite of it, they express the essence of what they feel, of what they found by following these rigorous disciplines, this sense of an opening that made them invincible, this sense of exceeding oneself, of going beyond all limits as if projected into the infinite, of flying without restraint in this physical body, as if entering into another dimension, into another plane of consciousness, this sense of immortality. I see them how this new force has seized them to transmute their life, their attitude, their self giving towards this unknown power which they do not understand. Our Divine Mother says, in this effort, the earth invokes the Supreme to extend His reign everywhere in the world and remembers with gratitude in an adoration and an ecstasy the felicity of the memory of these footprints that I have left behind on the earth, which transforms the atoms. The earth, the rocks, the dust, the water, and the air, all that constitutes this universe, implores for a new birth to blossom in the joy of participating in the new consciousness. This is the work that I have done without anyone ever knowing it, and yet without Him, nothing would advance. In a teasing tone, our Divine Mother says, actually, I have erred a bit because I spoke only about myself, what I have done, like an egoistic like you, as you boast, without ever mentioning what He has done. No, mother, says the child, there is no doubt. It is true that all that you have done, you are not boasting. For this, our Divine Mother says, yes, it is true. It is, I was just teasing you. There we have placed our feet and left our footprints behind. These atoms irradiate and influence others who are in their proximity, and in this way, the way of transmutation continues unabated. Magnetic is the touch of their hands, and their occult and delicate influence refines mind, life, and body. Where she presses her feet, course miraculous streaming of an entrancing Ananda, says our Lord, Sri Aurobindo. Our Divine Mother says, each step that I have placed awakens matter and resounds like an echo. Each step is precious that awakens the consciousness in matter. I have enclosed in each atom and my contact with the earth. At each step bursts open the crust and awakens it to the light. Our Divine Mother continues to say, there is a much greater intensity of force emanating from my feet because this force has to pass through the thick crust of the earth, through a great resistance in order to reach and touch the inconscious. It is for that reason that the force passes directly. Whereas when I bless with my hand, I control the flow of this force and give to each one what he needs when I give my blessings. But Sri Aurobindo had a different way. Like this, from far, he could send the force directly either to heal, to uplift, or to bless. I have seen in many cases without even his touching. Whereas me, I restrict a little and I give exactly according to the receptivity of the person and as much as they can contain and assimilate. I give according to the capacity of the individual, not more, not less, and they're happy. But sometimes I'm obliged to give with a lot of intensity and energy when there is a call to help someone from far at the very end of the world or the other end of the world from the other extreme. Our Divine Mother says, when I hear a prayer, I send a force and a will which goes with a lot of intensity, either to do what is necessary or to save a person. It is a vibration that emanates from me, and in a fraction of a second, it acts with a determinism even at the very end or the other end of the world. At that moment, it is voluntary, direct, and accomplishes the will which I have put into that vibration. Really speaking, says our Divine Mother, it is a very strong force which I send and which acts on the person. It is to save him even from death. It is often said that I send a force of this intensity. People cannot understand the value what I have done, of what has been accomplished. Anyway, says our Divine Mother.